Welcome to Heartland for Children's Let's Talk About It podcast, where we provide education and resources for family matters in Polk, Highlands, and Hardee counties. We're so glad that you've joined us. So now, let's talk about it. Welcome to Heartland for Children's Let's Talk About It podcast. I am Briana Edwards. I'm Recruitment Specialist here at Heartland, and I'm excited. We have Lori Chapman here. She is one of our foster caregivers, and actually she's amazing. So we are really blessed to have her on the podcast today, and we're actually talking about something super special. I don't know if you realize, but we are wearing, for those who are listening, we are wearing headgear. We are celebrating. We're getting ready for the holidays, and actually we have a really special project that Heartland's been doing for 18 years now. We're coming on 18 years, and it's our Rudolph Roundup Holiday Toy Drive. And this is really special to Heartland for Children and who we are, because we get to actually bless our children in the foster care system with gifts for the holidays, and we actually connect our community to meeting that need. And so we've been doing this now. This is going to be our 18th year, which is so wild. But before we dig into that a little bit more, I would love to be able to get you to learn more about Lori. And so, Lori, do you mind just introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background?
Not at all. My name is Lori Chapman, and I'm a mother of 12 beautiful daughters, ages 39 to 7. 39 and 30 are my own. I'm a substitute teacher in the area. I'm a recruiter, co-trainer, and mentor for our agency, Heartland for Children. And I love what I do. I'm active in several of the associations here, Hillsborough, even the state association. I love education. I love to go and find out more what I can share with my people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've been fostering for how long now?
Actually, I'm in my 19th year.
Wow.
I moved from Pennsylvania in 2009 and just felt like I had to do it again. And because of my multiple sclerosis, we moved to Florida because the heat is much better for me. And it wasn't shortly after that we started the classes and found that I loved it again and kept going.
Oh, that's awesome. So tell me, what kind of inspired you to start to foster?
Well, having two of my own biological children, I just felt I needed just to be a mother for many more. So I was at work one day and a gentleman came in and said he was having two foster boys. And I said, well, what's that? And he explained that the parents couldn't take care of them and that they would be with him until the parents can do what they needed to do. I'm like, what is that? I called my husband at the time and I took the classes that Monday. I believe we were licensed within 2 weeks, and as they say, the rest is history.
I love it. That's awesome. And Lori's been with Heartland now. You were fostering in Pennsylvania.
203 and then 209, and I started right away. I received my first child in 2010.
Wow.
From here.
And now we're in 2022.
She was 3 months old.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And she's 12 years old. No.
So how many kiddos do you have now in the house? Because you've adopted and you foster still.
So in the house I have 7. Out of the house I have 5, so it's 39, 30, 30, 27, 25, 15, 12, 12, 10, 9, 7, 7.
Wow. Goodness gracious. You have a house full. You are a mom to so many. Oh my goodness.
Girls.
You are definitely a girl mama. I love it. And so one thing that's really cool about having Lori here and sharing when we're talking about Rudolph Roundup is because our children that really benefit from Rudolph Roundup are our children that are involved in our system of care. And that's whether they've experienced abuse or neglect and could be in a foster home or a relative or non-relative. And so, or they could even have a case plan at home with their parents. So there's different things that are there that these kids, we support them during the holidays. And actually what's really fun is what most people don't realize is that we ask every child in our system of care or the caregivers, if our children are too young, for 3 items that the children might want for the holidays. And that could be 2 to 3 items that are equaling up to $100 in value. And we ask, what are their interests? What are their clothing sizes? And, then we ask, and you've been on the receiving end of that where you receive wish list, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. And packing the bags, and it's fun. It's just an amazing thing.
And so we have these wish lists that will come in and we connect with our community to be able to share, hey, would you be willing to sponsor a child's wish list or host a toy drive? Or even, we even have other options now for people to get involved with purchasing commonly requested gifts on like a Amazon or Target toy registry, or even just a financial donation so that we can go out shopping. And have you been on one of our shopping trips?
No, not that lucky. Maybe this year.
Yeah, maybe this year. It's so much fun because
I've seen pictures.
Oh my goodness,
of people with carts and carts and carts of stuff.
Oh yeah, we attract a lot of attention when we go to Walmart. We will go out and clear out the toy aisle at Walmart and with all the carts and buying gifts for our kids, and it is a blast. People will be like, what is going on? There's a parade of carts and toys leaving. So, but yeah, anyways, it's a really fun experience. There's so much involved when we connect with our community. And so one thing I really wanted to connect and share is also, Lori, you have a really unique perspective. Could you tell us a little bit?
I do. Yeah. So I started in 2010, and you said you're 18 years old. So it was new to me, and I would get a form and it'd be like Rudolph Roundup. I'm like, what's this? So I would open Toys R Us and I'd say, Sally, would you like this? Would you like this? Would pick out 3 things. I would send it in to whomever I had to send into. And, you know, in my home, those Christmases were memorable, and over the top kind of thing. So then when I got involved in actually working in the warehouse, that's when my mind was totally blown.
Yeah.
Of what steps it really took.
Well, can you tell us a little bit, Lori, about what does, paint us a picture? Because, you know, what does that look like? You've been in our Rudolph warehouse and you've seen what we do. So not only do like our kids each, we get a sponsor, one of our Rudolph Champions, a community Rudolph Champion will, we call them Rudolph Champions, that are people in our community, all sorts. We have different churches we connect with, and organizations and businesses, and even just families and individuals that will sign up to either sponsor a child's wish list or even host a toy drive. There's many ways to get involved. And so, but we'll have these donors that will bring those requested gifts.
Perfectly done. The list is there. Every gift on the list is there and packed very nicely. And we get it and we just fluff the bag.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Tell them a little bit, what does fluffing mean? Because people...
fluffing, I had to learn how to do it, but I got real good. So when you come in, when I first came in, every room was labeled. It was either toys, puzzles, balls, teenagers. Certain age groups were in each room. So when you got your bag, this nice little desk was set up with these wonderful workers that would tell you certain color paper you needed. You would go and say, yes, he got 1, 2, 3 of his gifts. So he liked Spider-Man. So we would go to the table where Spider-Man was, and we would pick out a couple other items we thought the child would like. And then we would go to the room and possibly get him a puzzle, age appropriate, or if it was a teen, they had acts, they had earbuds. Amazing gifts were given. And then we would bring it back, get the fluff approved, and bag it and put it in the room. Yeah. And then someone would come and get it.
Well, and to expound a little bit on that, for those who don't know, our kids, they request 2 to 3 items on their wish list, but we actually fluff with toy drive items that come from the community. So there are some people that decide that they want to just sponsor a child's wish list and buy those 2 to 3 items that equal up to $100 in value, or they can, some people are like, I actually want to host a toy drive and just collect a bunch of toys. And the toys that are received from the toy drive, we separate in the warehouse, in the Rudolph warehouse, and we will, each kid actually can get like 10 to 12 toys, not just the 2 to 3.
The bags are so heavy. I'm literally dragging them, I won't lie, down the hallway.
Oh my goodness.
Because the bags are very strong. And it's just amazing.
So so you're actually, we're able to give you, some people don't have that inside look of what inside the Rudolph warehouse, what that operation looks like. So you, Lori, have not only been on the receiving end as far as receiving for the kids in your home, but also you've been able to get a view that not a lot of people get to see, which is inside a Rudolph warehouse and what that all looks like and how that operation happens. And so I wanted to, though, hear a little bit from you. And I know you also are involved in a lot of like even with our foster parents and in those different organizations and in that community. And a lot of people that are donors don't always get to see how like the kids' faces when they receive the presents, or and see the impact that it's not only providing support for you, not having to try and collect and go and get out all these presents for the kids, which so can you speak a little bit more to that and paint kind of a picture for people what that looks like for you guys?
Yes. So example, I have 7 children at home and I shop for the 7 children no matter what, biological or foster. And then I know I'm going to get a bag from my current foster. But when someone comes to the door and I get their name and they call ahead and I open the door and I drag the bag out, and they're like, oh my gosh, thank you. And I'm like, wait, there's more. There's more. I said, yeah, wait, here, this is Johnny's, this is Sally's. Okay, wait, I think there's one more. Here's a bike, here's a helmet. And they're like, thank you, I can't thank them enough. And they're really flabbergasted. Now the older school ones are like thankful too, but to see a new one come, or a caregiver or a grandmother or grandfather come to that back door, and the items that we give them, they're just so thankful. And it's wonderful to see. And that's on that aspect. But I do have a little story for a foster child that I had. Okay. I won't give her name, but I still have her. So when we had the presents all underneath the tree, and we, at the time, there was some of my older adopted children there, and we gave her a present, and she opened it, and she smiled so big. And then she got up and went to see what everybody else was getting. And we're like, come back. She's like, why? And we're like, come back and sit down. And she said, you mean there's more? And we just gave her present after present after present. And each smile was even bigger than the one before. So that is just so nice to see.
Yeah. One thing I really love is we really want to make special holiday memories for these kids. And oftentimes they have never experienced Christmas like
even
this.
A birthday party.
Or a
so,
birthday. Yeah. Because, I've heard so many stories. I think when I've been now involved with Rudolph for, I think this will be my 5th year. And I just remember one of the first times when I'd call foster parents and say, hey, just letting you know all the gifts for the kids that are in your home are ready for pickup. And we'd have them show up to the door, and just like you said, I'd bring out the bags for their kids, and they literally, I've had foster caregivers just start crying.
And they have like little verses, and they have 3 bags to put in these little cars. And they're like, I might have to come back, because they are not expecting what they get.
And it's really, it's because of our community. We live in such a community that cares. And that wrap their arms so well around our children and our families. And actually we have, I think last year was a record for us with the number of toy drives and community, like businesses.
I can vouch for
so many. And actually last year was the first year that all of our children's wish list were sponsored. And
how many children?
Actually last year we were able to serve 1,689 kids. And so for those who don't realize, we set a goal every year that we want to do at least 1,500.
I remember that.
But I know for several and many years, we've actually been able to supersede our goal, which has been such a blessing. And actually, I have even here a letter from so many caregivers have reached out to us after the fact and just wanting to share their appreciation. And I have a little stack here, but I was like, I'm only going to read a couple of them. But someone wrote a hand letter and just said, to each and every one of you, our deepest gratitude for the gifts that were presented to us for our foster and your grandchildren. I am humbled by your generosity. The girls absolutely loved every gift they received. You are truly Christmas angels. And so I think what we really want to do when we're talking about Rudolph and this operation, it's such an operation that's such near and dear to our hearts, because it impacts our kids in our community that have just gone through so much. They're in a place where they've experienced so much trauma, And we just want to show that our community loves you, and wrapping also our arms around and support around the relatives and non-relatives and the families that step up to foster, that these families have stepped up to care for other people's kids and to love.
And multiple.
Yes.
Multiple. You'll find families with 4, 5, 6, some are siblings, some are not. And that would be so hard to Christmas gift 6 children.
Yeah.
Financially.
Yes.
So this is such a financial help to everyone involved.
And which reminds me, there's one more story that I wanted to read as well. That was really, really precious. And so one of our foster caregivers shared with us, she says, we unexpectedly found ourselves taking in a sibling set of 3 in the spring of this year. And this was last year. One of the things the older child had been asking for was a bicycle. We had putting off buying bikes because the expense of buying 3 new bikes, we know, oh my goodness, bicycles are expensive. And she said it was just a bit much, along with the expenses of setting up the house for the kids. And on Christmas Day, the kids were ecstatic to see 3 new beautiful bicycles, and we're so grateful for their wonderful sponsors. And so it's just to be able to see support and just see the community wrap their arms around our children and families has been, I've been so moved by it, and to be a part of such a project like this, and it really is an operation.
It is. It's called Rudolph Roundup Operation.
Yeah, it's Operation Rudolph Roundup.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. So Lori, can you tell us, was there anything that really surprised you when you go from not only just receiving gifts for our kids, but also you've come in and being an actual volunteer in the Rudolph warehouse? Was there anything that you found really shocking or surprising?
Yes, this year I was able to give a couple more hours, and it was toward the beginning, and I had the 2 phones, so we each have a phone for each process, and one is the foster parents would call on, and then one would be the donations. And I was like running to the donation door. I'd open it up, and there would just be tons of cars. There was no room in the hallways. We had to try to push it all in. I'd shut the door. A foster parent would call. I'd run on the other side of the building. I was clocking my steps that time. All the way on the other side, and then I see a super smile on that side. The phone would ring again. Back I would go to the donations. About 7 or 8 more cars and tons of toys on that little walkway. It was amazing to bring them in, and then we had other helpers that would bring those bags, because they were the toy dry bags, and put them in where we had Spider-Man's like up to the ceiling. And so it was an eye-opener to say, oh my gosh, like this just doesn't happen in a week. This happens from when you open to pretty much when we're closing the doors for the last day.
And yeah, no, it's true, especially that week before Christmas, those 2 weeks leading up, it is go time, all hands on deck, and you definitely experience sometimes it can be...
Yes, this one's missing this item. Oh, we have to shop. That's a shop pile. That's a shop pile.
Yes.
This one got this one. Okay, great, now fluff it, and it was... It's mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing, honestly.
And so, is there anything that you would want, if you had the donors who had donated and given gifts like our Rudolph Champions, is there anything that you'd want to tell to those?
Well, it's a cliche, but the community Rudolph heroes, which they are, and we know that all heroes don't wear capes, but I was very humbled to be able to help in this process and to proudly hold the name Rudolph Roundup, and that name itself just shows, like Briana said, the support we have in this community is amazing, just unbelievably amazing.
Yeah. And so if you are maybe just hearing of Rudolph Roundup, or you've heard about it in the past or been involved, there are several ways you can get involved, and we would highly recommend come and join us in this project. There you can host a toy drive. There is sponsoring a child's wish list. You can also, if you can't go to the store, or there's a toy registries even on Amazon and Target that you can purchase. We linked commonly requested gifts on there that you could purchase that we can put in addition to kids' wishes. And then there's also making a financial donation. All of those are amazing options that allow us to be able to provide memorable holiday experiences for our kids. And so to learn more, you can just visit heartlandforchildren.org/Rudolph. And we really appreciate all of our Rudolph champions who have made impacts over the years and who continue to do so. We have so many that are just like, I'm just so excited to do it again. Just let us know. And so we love the eagerness of our champions. And so we invite you to join us. So Lori, thank you so much for joining us today. We so appreciate all you do for our children and families and for Rudolph and volunteering with us in that Rudolph warehouse. And so you're amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
I very much love what I do.
Yeah, you're awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for listening to Heartland for Children's Let's Talk About It podcast. There is a great need for foster families who are willing to open their hearts and homes to teens, sibling groups, and children with special needs. To learn more, check out the description for resources or visit heartlandforchildren.org.